And can you talk through you touched on it, but can you talk through the kind of pathway to production?
Yeah, so the focus for us is to get the mining license at Makuutu. I think that becomes a significant step that de-risks the project, de-risks the company, and potentially leads to a re-rate. Once we've got the mining license, we're able to, I suppose, be able to action or be able to move with a bit more colour around the downstream strategy. I think there's a number of interested parties who are interested in getting access to our product, but critical to this is really the mining license application being able to move forward with operations on the Makuutu Central area.
And when will you be in a position to talk with offtake partners, for example?
So, I mean, one of the issues with the rare earth supply chain and offtake is that these supply chains have to be built. It's going to take some time. We've been having discussions over the course of the last 18 months with potential participants in this space. There's a lot of work that's going on in order to try and build these supply chains. We are working and evaluating a number of strategic partner opportunities. It's a tough question to ask at this stage because there's a lot of moving parts. And we're hopeful of being in a position to be able to do something more meaningful once we can move forward with Makuutu.
And Tim, some of these automakers aren't kind of using rare earths in new kind of battery developments. Do you see that as a threat to your market size moving forward?
Yeah, look, I mean, we've seen this being talked about for quite some time. The reality is that the go-to magnet or the go-to motor in the EV space is the permanent magnet synchronous motors. It's the most efficient electric motor in application today. Those motors are dependent on supplies of not just NdPr, but critical to them is the dysprosium and terbium, which comes from today the ionic adsorption clays of southern China and Myanmar. And whilst China is looking at doubling the capacity out of their production, they're a net importer of rare earths at this point. There really isn't going to be much DyTb available for Western auto manufacturers as we approach the end of this decade, which again creates a great opportunity for Ionic to be a key enabler of both EVs and offshore wind over the next few years.
Great, Tim. That's all we have time for. There's another question there if you don't mind asking it or answering it rather. Have a nice weekend. We'll get you back on in the near future.
Thanks, Tim.
Next up,